Good evening, and good evening. It is Wednesday the 2nd of July. We are only a couple of days until Celtic play their first game of the pre-season, and tonight the big news is... The big news is it looks like Gustav Lagard Bel will get his wish, and he is off. He is off. After Celtic paid 40 million kroner for Lagard Bel. It looks like he's now on the move to Portugal. He's off to Braga. The information is that he'll undergo his medical this week, and if everything goes to plan, he'll sign that new deal. It's done and deal. It's dusted, isn't it? It's Gustav Lagard Bel is a player that I think that we all thought maybe would have done well at Celtic at some stage. He was the defender who scored from the head in the Champions League from a corner at the time where Celtic were not really scoring a lot of goals from corners. It's got to be said, and you know, he did nothing wrong in my eyes. He came in, he steadied the ship in the defence at Celtic. He came in when Cameron Carter-Vickers was out injured again at the beginning of the season, and he did okay. You know, I just don't think that he got on. Maybe Brendan Rodgers just didn't like him as a player or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's the big news tonight, is Gustav Lagard Bel is on his way out, and the clear out at Celtic begins. And we're getting another 300 grand dud, waste of money. And yeah, and a Japanese player. Let's just see if the deal's done. Gustav Lagard Bel never got a chance. He's a player that I thought, when you watched him at his previous club, and he was a top defender. He was the top defender in the league. You're thinking, do you know, he can come in. He did okay. He was never going to be a Bobo Baldi type of player. He brought something different to the Celtic defence. But for whatever reason, Brendan Rodgers didn't like him, told him that he wasn't good enough at Celtic, told him to go and find another club. When Cameron Carter-Vickers gets injured again, and again this season we're talking about Cameron Carter-Vickers being injured because he's maybe had some surgery during the summer. We're talking about during the summer. We're talking within the last 3 weeks. It's not a long time, and especially if you're trying to recuperate from surgery of any sorts. You know, you're out the game for 2 to 3 months. So Celtic need to sort something out. That's for sure. With Gustav Lagard Bel clearing out of Celtic this week and heading over to Portugal, it'll be interesting to see what other players. He's on his way to London for medical here. Yeah, the Japanese boy. Is he really better than Gustav Lagard Bel? Does he know the European game? You've got all these, you know, is he coming in as first choice, or is he coming in? I think he's coming in as a squad player. You're not telling me that you're bringing somebody in for 300 grand that's going to be better than 4 million for Rocky. You know, it's going to be better than Liam Scales. It's going to be better than the £6 million we paid for Austin Trusty. But we have to believe that Brendan Rodgers, who has said, that he reckons that he's looking for a couple of more midfielders. One would offer a defensive aspect to the game. He said that it's been a good window so far, said Brendan Rodgers. He says, we're not needing a major overhaul of the squad, but freshness is so important. Some of these guys have been here a long time, so it's important that even with a winning squad, you refresh and reset the competition in the squad. In other words, we know that we have players that are not good enough, but let's get rid of them and bring in another load of players that aren't good enough, rather than going out and spending good money on players that are going to push for first team positions. I'll reserve judgment. I'll say now, I'll reserve judgment until the 3rd of September when the window closes. And then Celtic will come out and say it's been a good window because there's been an updating of the squad. That's how they'll put it. But let's face it, when you're bringing in freebies, you're not making this, when you're bringing in players, fair enough, the Benji one, cracking deal. Brendan Rodgers has had an inside eye on the player, if you like, and someone that he knows, and he knew that the contract situation, which meant that Celtic could get him for buttons. Any other time, Celtic are paying 6 million, they're paying the going rate for Benji. They would get him for 1.7 million. Fantastic. But the other 3 players that were brought in so far have been for free. We haven't spent any money. When you look at the money that's already been brought in by the club, there is definitely a clearing of the decks and a clearing of the wage bill. But it will remain to be seen over the next couple of months whether the squad is actually stronger. Brendan Rodgers will make all the noises. Will make all the noises of that the squad is in a stronger place. The new Japanese player is going to be a class act, by the way, says Dougie Sharp. Is he? I'm not convinced about that. Is he better than Cameron Carter-Vickers? Is he better than what we've got? And that's all I'm saying. And until we see him, I'm not going to go by YouTube clips, because people that do these YouTube channels pick the best moments in games and to show off the best in a player for clicks. That's it. Purely for clicks. Big Rocky needs a run in. He's never let us down. It's going to be an interesting season for him, because the guy that came in the same season as him for £3 million, it looks like Celtic are going to take a loss. It looks like Celtic are going to take a loss on Gustav Lagard Bel. Have to be Scales at left back if KT is injured. No, I think Brendan Rodgers has said that we're still looking at the left back area. He knows that Kieran Tierney has been brought in, but they're not they don't want to rely on him being the sole left back. And let's face it, if we go into the season with Liam Scales as our left back option, well, it's managed decline. I don't care what you say, it's a season of managed decline. Ange made the noises, Brendan on big money, so keeps his mouth shut. He's Dermot's pay puppet. I don't think so. I mean, Ange made all the noises about spending more money. Ange come out and said, what's the difference between spending £10 million on a player and selling them for 30 to 35 million? There's no difference between buying a player at 1-2 million and selling them for 10. That's what Ange said. Ange, if anything, Ange jumped ship when he knew he wasn't going to get the money to spend that he wanted. You could put it that way. Do you know, let's not get into the whole Ange. You need to take your green specs glasses off with Ange Postecoglou. You've got to remember that he turned around to Dermot Desmond and Peter Lawwell inside Hampden Stadium before the cup final kicked off and said, I want to go and talk to Spurs. I'm not signing the new contract, I want to go and talk to Spurs. Before the game kicked off. So don't give me this bullshit that Ange was fucking Celtic through and through. He wasn't. He couldn't wait to jump ship. Imagine telling your bosses before the most important game, and then when you win the game, those two people concerned are looking as if they've just watched a death, because they knew what Fat Ange said before. So don't give me this nonsense that Ange was better. Ange didn't jump. Did he not? Did Ange not jump? So what did Ange do? Why did Celtic get paid compensation for Ange if he didn't jump? Do you know? Let's forget about the whole Brendan thing and Ange. Ange jumped ship as well. You can butter it up and say it was. Do you know, it was what it is. He jumped ship. He was offered the best contract any Celtic manager was offered. Anyway, that's enough of that. Still love Big Ange, but he's 2 years gone. He's not even in England anymore. He's fucked off with England. Do you know what I mean? It's like, get over it. Rodgers jumped. Rodgers was pushed for 10 million. We could have this argument all day long. It's not going to sort anything out when it comes to the current situation. You can only piss with the cock you've got. Now, if you're standing in the toilet and you want to stand and talk Ange Postecoglou cock all night when you're looking down at your own wiener, well, that says more about you than anything else. You can only stand there and go, right, we have to deal with what we've got. It's funny that the tide, I see the tide turning, and I knew this would happen. I said that this would happen as pre-season proceeds, and Ange jumped and dived into a pool of money. Of course he did. Brendan Rodgers is not committing. Classic doldrum seasons ahead. I hope KT got inside info. Brendan is staying. I've already said that. I think that Kieran would want. Kieran's too clever a lad. I want Danny Inglis to come in. Danny Inglis is not coming to Celtic. The new Japanese striker. A new Japanese striker next week. I'm not going to go on speculation anymore. I'm just going to wait till Celtic. It's almost a done deal, and we know that someone's in for a medical, because we've been named with that many players. I could do a 4-hour long video, a 4-hour long live talking about every single player that we've been linked with this summer, and every single player that's not. Anyway, one player that we have at the moment are contemplating a £15 million bid for Nico Kuhn. Nico Kuhn is coming out. Newcastle papers are also talking about it, saying that Como are ready to have one last push to sign Nico Kuhn before Newcastle United do. They're making one last attempt to sign Nico Kuhn. We'll see how that pans out. A player that cost Celtic £3 million from Rapid Vienna. Celtic will be in line to make a tidy profit, even if they sell him for 13 million. It's a £10 million profit on the player. They are pushing for the closer side to 20. He scored 24 goals, 18 assists in 69 appearances for Celtic so far. Speculation over his departure will speed up over the next couple of weeks, because the closer it gets to the Como, and I mean Fabregas at Como is saying that it's now or never type stuff. It's we either get the deal done or we move on. Anyway, one interesting conversation in the Irish media tonight is, and this will split the fans. It will split the fans, because the big lad's coming home, and he's going back to Cork. Celtic head to Cork next week, and big Adam Idah's coming home with a swagger. And it's like, I play for Celtic. Callum McGregor said that Adam Idah has the world at his feet with the ability and talent he's got. Oh, Callum. So, oh, that has to be the poll question. That has to be the poll question. Just give me 2 seconds. Does Adam Idah wait a minute, let's just do that again. There's a mistake in it. Jesus. Does Adam Idah have the world at his feet with the ability and talent that he's got? That is the word of your captain, Callum McGregor. This one will completely split fans down the middle. This one. All last season, fans moaned about money that was spent. Now fans are moaning about it hasn't been spent. Any wonder the board don't talk to the fans. Can he win? Big Rab. Big Rab's won the internet tonight. But anyway, let's get on this poll one. Let's get on the poll. Does Adam Idah have the world at his feet with the ability and talent he has? The words of your Celtic captain, Callum McGregor. in what paper was it? It's probably in a few Irish papers. This is the Irish Examiner. Where the League of Ireland exports Liam Scales, Johnny Kenny, and the big man himself will be in the Celtic squad against Cork next Tuesday. As a Celtic lifer, Callum McGregor is qualified to appreciate the ties that bind Ireland and his employer. He joined Celts in the boys section at 12-year-old when Roy Keane arrived for a brief swan song. Roy's namesake Robbie also temporarily passed through paradise as the midfielder progressed. They also crossed paths with Damien Duff on the coaching staff. Next Tuesday we'll see the boys out at Cork Park. There'll be 3 Irishmen in the squad that can sculpt the team's future. Adam Idah's homecoming. He's homecoming. Get in there. Liam Scales, Johnny Kenny form part of the Scottish Champions squad. Brendan Rodgers has assembled a multicultural squad to tackle the campaign ahead. Although they feel a little bit battered after the 3-2 aggregate win that Bayern Munich got over Celtic, the history of the club, players from Britain and Ireland know what Celtic are about, the culture, the expectation of winning, said Callum. He said, I think that we think it's maybe a bit different than the foreigners that come from Europe or Japan. We need to get them to pick up on what Celtic's all about. You need a strong squad that understands the fabric of what the club is about and what the supporters want to see on match day and how that reflects the team. The manager has always been a big one on having a strong core of players that understand the club. Ultimately, if you're playing for the supporters, you're playing to win. He understands it in a different way. Adam Idah's 20 goals throughout last season contributed to the success. McGregor foresees the 24-year-old only improving. Adam has the world at his feet, says Callum McGregor. The ability, the talent he's got is gushing out the striker. Brought last year from Norwich for €10 million, following a stint loan, has been excellent. He's still a young player who's developing. Adam Idah. He's still a young player who's developing and learning all the time. His impact when he came on loan for the last 6 months of the season included the Scottish Cup winner. Then last season, his full season, he got a return and improved with more games and experience. We've been really impressed with him, and we just continue to try and push and get the maximum out of Adam Idah because he is a top young player, says Callum McGregor. He then goes on to Johnny Kenny, who over a period of time, he said the 22-year-old has moved from his local club from spending 2 years on loan at Shamrock Rovers. He's got a really good reputation for the young age that he is. He's matured into a very good football player. He's had a few chances, he's came back. The signs are really good for him. If he continues to keep working hard, he will be first class also. Scales is another one that came from Rovers to Celtic, and after the £600,000 move from Rovers seemed to be up in the air, and he was going to Aberdeen. He went on loan to Aberdeen. It looks as if he was going to go back to Aberdeen. McGregor says what was once a crossroads, sometimes you need a little patience. You need a little patience. Oh dear. He says that he's got great balance and he serves the team really well. Talking about Liam Scales, but the poll is all about Adam Idah's the new Tony Cascarino. No, he's not. The poll is all about Callum McGregor said that he has the world at his feet with ability and talent. How do you feel as Celtic fans? Do you feel that Adam Idah does have the world at his feet with the ability and talent he's got? Not my words. The words of your captain, the words of a player who's came through the academy, who's seen it all. I was going to sing the rest of it, Michelle, but I thought I better not. But as it's 7 p.m, the new start time. Nope, it's just for the next couple of days. It wasn't 7 o'clock anyway, it was 7:30. It was 7:30. Don't sing that, Baz, you're no Oh, Lorna always brings me back down to earth, doesn't she? Doesn't she? New poll, what's Calmac on? You can't be saying things like that. Scales is going to be the new boy to be trashed after Taylor. Scales was trashed last season. I don't think that this is going to make a difference to the big man. I think that, he'll take it on his chin. Messi was absolutely pissed the other night. Did you see Messi getting pushed about and then do the old Chris Sutton backwards thing? So will Como, it could be a big week, will Como make their move this week and put that bid in for Nico Kuhn? Gustav Lagerbielke, that's because I'm reading it in Swedish. Gustav Lagerbielke, and I've got to say, he's punching above his weight as well, isn't he? Gustav Lagerbielke sitting there with his missus as they contemplate their life and where it's going to take them to next. I do feel sorry for Gustav. He had a fantastic season last season out on loan, and just for whatever reason, it just hasn't worked out for him at Celtic, which I think, has he been that hard done by? That could be a poll question. Has Gustav Lagerbielke been hard done by? I think a lot of fans would say yes. I think they would say yes. Lagerbielke is expected to undergo a medical this week, which means he's going to go for a medical. He's probably flying out today, and his medical will be tomorrow. You've got to remember, Gustav Lagerbielke was pictured at Celtic Park. He was pictured at Celtic Park earlier on this week as they came into pre-season training. Milk can turn quicker than Adam Idah. He's green for goal. Oh dear. This window's been a bit poor so far, says Paddy Burns. Has it been poor? Or has our expectations... The window's not really got going yet. We've never put any big bids in for players. I think that the players that we've brought in have been in the... You're not bringing in... Right, let's talk about the window. He's going to Braga, Aussie Online. He's going to Braga. Right. Kieran Tierney. That deal was done back in December when Brendan Rodgers was at the Celtic Foundation thing down in London. Right. The next one to happen was, say, the Fulham player. Now, he's been able to speak to anyone since December. That's not been just a last-minute decision at the end of the season. That's one that Celtic have been looking at for a while. So it's long-term targets that they've managed to get in early, right? The Benji one, you could say that one's probably been one of the longer-term targets as well. Ross, they knew that they would have known at the end of last season that our goalkeeper that sat on the bench for 7 years was wanting to leave the club. They knew that Ross Dohan's... we spoke about this in December, the fact that Ross could be possibly coming to Celtic. So it's no big surprise. They've got the four that's happened so far. The 3 or 4 that's happened so far are all ones that have been in the window. They know these ones are going to happen. These are the easy ones to get through. I think the ones that will happen now are the ones where it's needed a bit more work. It's needed a bit more conversation to get the deals done, to say the least, by Nicholson and Co. Baz, hail from Acclamy, Cowdenbeath. What do you think we still need? Left-footed centre-back. I think we need, at this point, if it's true that Cameron Carter-Vickers is recovering from an injury, I think that we need... I don't want to go into a new season with a brand new pairing in defence and also Kieran Tierney, because that can really upset the apple cart. Brendan Rodgers has said before, you want your back two to be a mainstream. You want your back four to be a solid back four that know that when they're playing in a back four against good teams, they're in a line. They're defending in a line when it comes to Champions League. They're looking along the line. They're all together. They move together. They come back together. They're all in sequence. They don't even have to turn around and look at each other. They know exactly what they're doing. We've not got that at the moment. We've not got that. Even though Rocky's trained with the team. Do you know, even though Scales has been there, Trusty's been there, the manager doesn't seem to trust them. He doesn't seem to trust them long term. Bringing in another defender, you could say it's a replacement for Gustav Lagard Bel, but that was just a squad player. Is this Japanese guy going to come in and push Austin Trusty out the road? Is he better? Is this what you're really saying, that a 300 grand buy from Japan is better than a £6 million American international player? And if that's the case, we need to just go back to Japan and spend fucking 10 million and bring in 10 players. Hardball in the centre mid. We need players that we need. We need a left back. We need a player to take over from Cameron Carter-Vickers, because if he is injured, he's injury prone every single season, and it's always at this time of the season, and that's a concern, because I think that's cost us in the Champions League. We need someone that can take over from Callum McGregor long term. I think we need someone taller in the midfield. We need someone taller in defence. We need a big 6'5" player that can bully people in defence and in the midfield. You know, someone that can read the game. We still need a striker. Austin Trusty isn't really it right now. I'm more worried about midfield. Enigma, the £11 million penalty taker, and Bernardo Flatters. Oh, see, when go and remind yourself what age Arne Engles is, because I think that we put so much pressure. We put so much pressure on players, and he's only a kid. He's only 21. Do you know, we're expecting Arne Engles to be some kind of messiah because of his price tag. See, if we got Arne Engles for 3 million, nobody would talk about him. Nobody would complain about him. Nobody would complain about the price tag. But because you put a certain price tag on a player's head, you think, fucking, he must be amazing. £11 million in Scottish football, you fucking mental, man. He must be fucking brilliant. It's 2025, for goodness sake. See, when you see some of the dross that's getting sold, Kieran Tierney will not be the next cap. He'll be the captain after Callum McGregor. Yamal's only 17. Yeah, but look at the difference in Yamal. Come on. Look at the difference in him. And plus, he plays for a team that believes in bringing through young players. If Arne Engles had came through the system at Celtic, right? If Arne Engles came through the system at Celtic, he would not be in the first team. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. The guy who plays for Spain is 17-year-old. He's 4 years younger. Yeah, but he's also valued at something like 300 million already. He's going to be the first £1 billion player. Do you know, if there's no comparison at all. I mean, it's bonkers. Ben Doak, 18 or something. Yeah, I mean, where's he playing? He's not getting first team football, is he? He's not getting first team football. He went to Liverpool and they put him out to Sunderland, and he's not guaranteed. Lennon Miller. There you go. Lennon Miller, 18-year-old with an £8 million price tag. £8 million player. Are you saying that he's better than Arne Engles? Some may say he is, some may say he's not. I think they're two similar players of similar qualities myself. I think that I understand why fans are getting frustrated. I do. And I understand why people on the channel are getting frustrated, because they wanted Celtic to go out and make a statement this summer. And I don't think that we've made that statement yet. Do you know, when people look at the squad and they look at the players that have came back that were all loaned out, and Baz, you're better than Engles. I'm still reserving judgment on Engles. He's only 21. Coming to a new country, you've got to put everything into perspective. Do you know, 21 years old, coming to a new country, not knowing anybody. Do you know, when you walk about the streets, you get, oh, you fucking prick, you fucking fiend bastard. For one side of the city, and then the other side of it is like, alright, big man, you're fucking brilliant. To your face. And then online, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm fucking on the Engles, this fish. Do you know what I mean? It's like, fucking me. It's no wonder that I say any young player coming through football in the modern day should do one thing and get their mobile phone and fucking throw it in the Forth or the Clyde or whatever river's nearest to them, and have no social media whatsoever. Do you know? It's like, if you want to phone me, phone the house after 7 o'clock at night when it's free. That's what I would do. It's not just Celtic fans. Yeah, I know it's not just Celtic fans, but do you know, it's Engles will be Player of the Year 25-26. Bernard said it already. But yeah, if I was a young player, that's what I would. If I was the father of a young player, I'd be like, give me that phone, get it to fuck. They want to phone you. Here's the house. Do what me and your ma used to do. Get your mates to phone you after 7 o'clock when it's free. Sorry, Baz, didn't see you live. That's alright. Portuguese report saying the deal is up to 3 million. Yeah, it's saying 1.7 million here with add-ons. That's the information we get. But if that's what's coming out of Portugal, I'll take your word for it, mate, because you are in Portugal. £3 million, says Irishman in Porto, who does work in the industry, the TV industry. You've got to remember, he's a film man that does all the football stuff. He's got the best job in the world. He's off until football resumes in August. Brilliant. Engles had a decent first season. Can't be expect a 20-year-old boy to be consistent, game changer straight away. No, you can't. As I would say, jump at it. Maybe no Tenerife, because you get island fever. Maybe no Tenerife, you get island fever. I'm doing good. Set for life. I am doing good. Was it you that sent me the thing on Twitter today? Somebody sent me a new icon, but I've not really been in the house. What a guy. He is. That Irishman in Porto's just got the easiest of life. Just sits around waiting for the call, waiting for the football season to start, and then dons his camera and films. And where is he off to next? He's away off to South America, aren't you, mate? We're off to South America in is it August or September? But anyway, we move on to. Yeah, it looks like the Japanese boy's flying into London for his medical. I'm not going to get overwhelmed with that one because it's Paraguay, that's it. There's loads of folk here for Paraguay. Colombia. Loads of folk in this part of Spain for Paraguay and Colombia. Down the coast from us. Up and down the coast, really. Celtic, a young lad at Cork. Looking at a young lad, how do you find you on Twitter, Vaz? Can't remember Twitter. Why is it not signed in? I'm sure it was on the YouTube channel? There we go. I don't really do Twitter. I've had Twitter since. This Celtic Twitter's been on the go since 2009. I was more active on it back in the day when early YouTube channel days. Early YouTube channel days. The Pan American Games. That sounds good. I'm for John Chapo in Paraguay. Oh dear. That was a cracking wee badge. Let me see if I can get it actually. I think I downloaded it earlier. It's a new take. I did download it earlier, didn't I? Yeah, I did. It's a new take on, and it's a cracker actually. I'll upload it to. In fact, I'll put it in that bit as well. Yeah, I'll get that up on the screen later. Apparently, the Turkish baby is called a. Oh, the poll's set at 50-50. Does Adam Idah have the world at his feet with the ability and talent he's got? That was words by Callum McGregor. We've had 115 votes, and the votes are sitting at 50-50. 50-50. Unbelievable. I knew that one would split the fans right down the middle. I knew it would split them. Oh, yes, just sneaked ahead there. Yes, is sneaking ahead. You've got to remember, Adam Idah's just a young lad, like Callum said, so as is Engles. I think that if anything, Brendan Rodgers will try and add a bit more maturity to the squad and experience. Paul McPherson, he's some lad. Paul's brilliant. Paul's brilliant. he's proper old school. He's proper old school for the section. If you're listening, I hope you're good, Paul. I hope you're good. He is some lad. Like, Paul's one of the good guys. That mad boss. And well, I tell you, Warren, you put up with some shite with that. They orange bastards in County Beath. Anyway, the Milton Provos are in the house also. I'm up the hill at Aberdeen, Paraguay. None of these are for Paraguay, you nutjos. Celtic Champions League will make or break Idah, Adam Idah. Will the Champions League make or break? Well, we need one of my heroes, a Peter Grant type. Yeah, I think we'd. Nah. And do you think that we need a Peter Grant in the middle of the park? Do we not have... Is that not a kind of Paulo Bernardo player? Or has that been bad on Paulo Bernardo, saying that he's as bad as Peter Grant? I mean, Peter Grant done okay, but he was nothing compared to Paul McStay, was he? Really. This season will make or break Adam Idah. He's at the age where if he goes... I've still said that I think that Adam Idah... I predicted that Adam Idah would score 10 goals in his loan spell at Celtic. And I think he scored 9. And he scored in the cup final. I predicted that he would double that the next season when Celtic bought him. And he did that. He scored 20 goals. This season coming, if he gets the game time, if he gets more starts, I reckon that Adam Idah can score 25 goals. And some people will still slate him, saying that he's not prolific enough. And I think that he'll go through phases where he's not prolific, but when he turns up and when he gets the deliveries in the middle of the box that Kyogo Furiashi used to get, when he gets the crosses into him, he will put the ball away. And I think that I'm going to go with Callum McGregor. For a young guy, you know, I think that he can only get better. Bernardo will be fuming comparing them with. Will this season be Brendan Rodgers' last at Celtic? If he doesn't, as our fans food up with us milking us for crap games, which should be free on the boot. Yes, yeah, we are. Of course we are. This fucking Newcastle game's a joke. Increasing the capacity, for the Newcastle fans is just all about cash, and it's just all about the fact that Celtic fans have went fuck off. Celtic fans, this board will be able to push the fans so far, and if the fans do not believe that the board are producing the goods in terms of quality of player, the fans will soon turn against the board again, Do you know the board have had it easy the last couple of seasons, and it's all good whilst you're winning and bringing in the right type of players and selling those players on. But when you start taking hits on Gustav Lagard Bel, when you start taking, you might make a profit on Yang. Do you know, there's a lot of players that's came in over the last 4 seasons. You take the 2 seasons that Andrew's here, you take the 2 seasons that Brendan's been here, and when you look at what's been spent on players, and you look at the dross that's came in by both managers, there's not one manager better than the other when it comes to this. Do you know, both managers have been complicit in bringing in substandard players to the club that have just been not of a decent quality. Brendan Rodgers can bemoan the fact that, you know, some of these players have been here for 4 years now. It's time that they move on. We need that little bit of freshness. They're good players, but they're not just good enough for Celtic. So we're going to move them on, and we're going to bring in other players just to give us a wee boost. In other words, we're going to reduce the wage bill, and we're going to bring in, we're going to get rid of 8 players. We're going to bring 8 players in. We're going to be 300 grand up a month on wages that we'll save. We'll still win everything, get a wee pat on your back, and then Brendan will say, fuck this. As much as Brendan loves Celtic, a sell-on clause for Lager, if there will be, it'll be fucking 10% or something. I don't think there'll be a big one. But when it comes to Brendan Rodgers, he does love the club, but he also knows the modern game, and he also knows that there will come a time and a situation where he cannot take the club any further because of finances, because of the way that the board want to run the club. That will be in Brendan Rodgers' this mind, and if he signs an extension this summer, the board have given him some kind of promise. Is it a false promise? I think that we need to wait until the end of the window. Brendan Rodgers was asked if he would sign a new contract. He said it would be an easy conversation to have in the summer. Well, the summer's done in terms of being away for your work. Do you know, he said it would be a conversation. Brendan Rodgers' exact words was, I'm sure it'll be an easy conversation to have over the summer. Over the summer means when they're not at training, when they're not at Celtic Park. And it doesn't look like that's happened. So I think that we can, and let's not say that Brendan Rodgers is the Messiah as well, because long term Celtic fans will get fed up with the way that he plays. They'll start blaming Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers could win a treble this year, and I think that there'll be Callum McGregor said it, the hurt that came from losing the final the way they did, the hurt that Brendan Rodgers had for not being the manager that managed to get us that treble. Do you know, he'll feel that he's not succeeded. He's been here 2 seasons and he's not had a treble. He will see that as failure. Brendan Rodgers will say, it's all good, yeah, it's fine. We had a good season in the Champions League. Yeah, I'll take that. We won a double. Yeah, I'll take that. We fucking collapsed in the cup final. Easy conversation. The answer will be no. Says Paul Bear. Brandon need to be bored. I don't know the promise. Still raging with the triple sub in the final. Cost us the treble. I don't think it was the triple sub that cost us the final. I want a decent run in Europe, Baz, because I enjoyed that wee run we had last season to Scotland. Yeah, I think. Evening, Gemma. How are you? And how's the wee one? I think that a good run in Europe in the Champions League, whilst it's good for the fans that go to the away games, and I know guys that go to every single one, and I know guys that are sitting the day that the draw's made, they're sitting going, they're just waiting on booking flights. Do you know, some guys book flights because they're like, well, that game's going to be that weekend, that's going to be that weekend, that week, and that week. And we follow the team in big numbers. We always do. But will success this year be to take that little step further in the Champions League, or will success be as treble? How many of the players at the club will be hurting from winning the treble? Maybe Brendan Rodgers wanted rid of so many players this season because he never seen enough pain. He never seen enough pain when they lost the cup final. And when you lose a cup final and you're looking at about your players, you're watching to see the ones who are really hurting, because they're the ones that are going to fight for you next season. And then you're looking at the ones that are just like, why the fuck's he so upset? It's only a cup final. Fuck, we tried our hardest. And straight away you're like, yeah, he's for the fucking chop. He's for the chop. He's for the chop. That's even Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel walked about that final and he was looking at Callum McGregor and he couldn't believe the emotion in Callum McGregor. Because Kasper Schmeichel's been there and he's lost finals. He knows what it's like to lose a final. It's like, we've tried our hardest. It's fucking... That's not good enough when you're at Celtic. It's not good enough at all. And the manager would have seen that. Do you know, the manager spoke about he's away on holiday, he's out cycling, he's fucking doing things to clear his head, to not think about football. But you can guarantee that he's got in his head every single player that was not pissed off at the end of the game, that didn't show raw emotion of being absolutely raging the fact that we lost it. There was too many players just fucking not interested. And Rio Hatate will come into that. But anyway, it's a new season and we're going to be over the moon. Over the moon. Teething. Oh God. Oh Gemma, I know what you're going through. I get weekly video calls from my granddaughters. It's brilliant. Opinionated Glaswegian says, can't win them all. We've been blessed for the last 20 years winning so much. Long may it continue. Yeah, long may it continue. Brendan should have recruited Scott Brown. Nah. Scott Brown wouldn't do it. I think if he was asked, he wouldn't do it. Scott wants to go and learn and make his own mistakes. Do you know, he wants to go and... Scott knows that he's 4 or 5 years away from a top job. Scott doesn't want to go... Listen, look at it this way, right? Does Scott Brown do what Lennon does? He comes in at Celtic, he has a good run at Celtic. Lennon's career's been on a slippery slope since then. Don't know, he's now managing at Dunfermline. Lennon's hit the heights of his career. Lennon's career's not getting any better. And Scott Brown would be sitting watching that and going, I'm fucking not going to Celtic straight out. Paul Lambert's the same. You know, Paul Lambert was being linked to the Celtic job. But I think Scott would go, nah, I want to go and learn management. Do you know, learn from my mistakes, get better, find an owner that believes in what we're doing and trying to achieve, and work my way up through the ranks. Neil Lennon didn't have to work his way up through the ranks. He was just handed on a plate. Boom. Gun 1. Who's Gun 1? I have no idea. Is he blocked? He must be blocked for a reason. Gun 1. I've not got time to do that just now. There's nobody blocked. There's nobody blocked on the channel. The last time I checked, everyone was unblocked. Unblocked everyone about the middle of last season. YouTube Studio. Even all the Huns. No. Oh no, there's Huns that are blocked. Gun 1? No, there's not a gun 1 there. Can't see him. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? Anyway, you had any subs lately? Dave Morton, I'm keeping it secret. Keeping it secret because it jumps up and down. We're at 145. I need 5 votes. The vote's been on for 36 minutes. I need 5 votes to get it to 150. Luke McCowan needs to up it. He was rubbish at the derby. Oh, Jesus. Would you change the structure of Scottish football to save our game? Yes, I've said that loads of times. I said that last season. I said that when it came out that the SPFL and the SFA wanted to change the league formation to maybe down to 10 teams, I thought it was wrong. I think that we need to increase the league, if anything. We need to increase the league and we need to get rid of plastic pitches. The league's too small. A league of 12's shite. Playing each other 4 times a league, 4 times a season, shite. Absolute shite. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, right, that's the poll. I need 2 votes on the poll. And then we can wrap that up for this evening. It's quite a split poll. Callum McGregor says that Adam Idah does have the world at his feet with the ability and talent he's got. With the talent he's got. Do you think so? Callum McGregor thinks he does. I think that he's got a lot of improvement to do. I think he'll score 25 goals this season, and I think he'll be a lot better than what a lot of Celtic fans think, to say the least. There we go. We're done and dusted with the poll. The poll is finished, and it finished up. Yes gets it just briefly by 52%, and the no's get it for 47% with 151 votes completed. Anyway, I've been on for an hour tonight, 53 minutes so far. That is me done and dusted for this evening. Have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.